Let's talk about clear to close and VA loans. So these are kind of nerve-wracking for sellers. These have been questions that have come up recently, and I want to share them with you and shine some light. And hopefully, this helps you, even if it just helps calm your nerves a little bit as you're going through the process of selling your home. So, if you are a seller and you're thinking of taking a contract that is a VA loan, um, I know that there are some sellers that say, I don't want to take a VA loan. I had one gentleman I was speaking with that I know really well. He has bought and sold lots of properties, and I know I've helped him before, and he did not want to checkmark VA loans as an option for acceptable offers. And I spoke to him again, just that was like a year ago, and then I spoke to him again about selling his property, and he brought it up again that he doesn't like the idea of a VA loan. And when I shined a little bit of light on the topic, I think he kind of came around. And I just want to encourage you that VA loans are not so scary if you are a seller. Now, is cash king? Is cash the best? Sure, it would be great. But there's other terms in the contract. And when you're looking at two offers side by side, I wouldn't rule out an offer just because it is financing or especially a VA loan. So one thing that you do need to be aware of in a VA loan is there are going to be certain things you have to go through, like appraisals and inspections. And basically, it has to appraise at value. That's going to be the biggest thing. Another thing that people are worried about is the timeline. So people are worried that it's going to take a lot longer. Will it take longer than cash? Yes, probably. So a cash deal, basically, that's just gonna be title clearing things. So that could happen in as little as 10 to 14 days, where a VA loan, that's probably not going to happen. Your average is going to be, from what I've seen, like 30 to 45 days, and every case will be different. So, but yeah, it's not a scary thing. Actually, the buyers have to be highly qualified to apply and to get a VA loan. But again, they have to appraise at value. So if you price your home high, that would be a reason to be afraid of a VA loan, because they have the right to pull out of that contract if there's no if the value isn't there. And also just check the terms. You might be responsible to cover a portion of the loan costs, like $250. You might be responsible to cover like $500 of repairs. So there's different things, and it could be written a certain way. I had one contract where they were up against multiple offers. There was another offer on the table actually, and they were side by side. They were both VA loans, but the one VA loan had said, we will cap the amount at this much amount, so for general repairs, and we will put $0 for the other amount, right? So for instead of the general $250 that my seller would have to pay towards the closing costs, that was zeroed out. So there's different ways that another agent can, make the terms more favorable for you. And of course, every deal is always negotiable. So look through those terms together, really understand them, and you can negotiate to make them more favorable for you. But again, it's not scary to take a VA loan. The one thing that you will want to do is really get in contact with that lender. So as an agent, that's what I will do when I get any kind of loan offer. I'm going to connect with that mortgage lender, and I'm going to get a good sense of that lender, if they are familiar with doing loans in the local area, if they're familiar with doing VA loans. Maybe some of them don't do them very often. So you want to kind of interview who is doing this loan, and also get a sense for the buyer themselves, right? How qualified are they? It's a really, really good thing to do. So that being said, the second question that has come up is, what in the world is a clear to close, right? So you have your closing date, even, you've already signed the paperwork in some circumstances, and now you're waiting on a clear to close. Well, doesn't that already mean that we're good? No. So clear to close, if you have a finance deal, that is going to come up. So Clear to close is basically the lender saying, okay, we're good. It has gone through underwriting. They are officially clear to close. They're officially good to go. The funds are, going to be released. They have passed all the all the tests that they need to go through. That's what your clear to close is. So I had one very, very sweet client of mine. I was helping her sell her home. She accepted a VA loan contract, and it was we were signing a week early, so we were doing a pre-signing, and then she thought that meant that when she signed, that'd be closing day. And I had to explain to her, no, remember, we're just signing early so that you can be free to go, be on your way. You don't have to do it virtually. And then she understood that, but then she didn't understand that even though we were signing, the buyer didn't have a clear to close. So we still had to officially wait for the clear to close. And I said, not to scare you, but this still has to go through certain hoops. And sure enough, the underwriter last minute was asking us for certain things, and they needed these things to be able to get to that clear to close, right? They're going to go through a fine-tooth comb. You probably know from experience, if you've ever gotten a mortgage in the past, they're going to go through all the ins and outs with you, from making sure that your employment history hasn't changed up until the date of signing. You didn't go out and buy a boat or apply for any, you didn't take any hits on your credit. You didn't go out and buy furniture for the house. Don't do that if you are doing financing, right? So making sure everything is still in alignment. With us, we actually had to track down her. So she had gotten solar panels on her roof 14 years ago. There was no liens on this. This was completely paid out. But all of a sudden, underwriting wanted to see receipts. So that was one little piece of the puzzle that was not solved by underwriting. Turns out my seller had gotten rid of all of her receipts. She had shredded all her paperwork. So there was no receipt, no documentation. And come to find out that there was no company in business anymore. The company that had installed the solar panels was no longer in business. So we had to this went on for a couple of days. We had to get special permission. We got the title company involved, and we had to basically get the okay from the underwriter. They were waiving this stipulation. So there's going to be stipulations that are going to come in place. And until those are done, you do not have a clear to close. So once the lender says that you have that clear to close, that's where we all celebrate. That's where we say, okay, this is it. We are going to the closing table. So I hope that helps. And this is not to scare you, but these are things that will come up if you are accepting a VA loan or even a conventional loan on your home. If you have any questions, I would love to help you. If you're thinking about getting your home listed, going on market, selling in the Villages, Florida, I would love to walk you through the process of what to expect. I'll put my contact info in the description here. You can give me a call directly, and I'd love to see how I can help you. Or maybe you know somebody who is thinking of buying or selling. I'd love to help them through the process as well. Have an amazing day, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.